Hello, my name is Hunter Hodges, and I'm currently a student at California State University, San Bernardino. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the social learning theory. What is learning? Well, the definition of learning is any change in the content or organization of long-term memory or behavior that results from information processing. Cognitive learning encompasses all of the mental activities of humans as they work to solve or cope with a situation. As you see before me, there are three different types of cognitive learning. Iconic rote learning is a concept or association between two or more concepts in the absence of conditioning. It is the lowest level of cognitive learning and takes very little effort. The next type of cognitive learning is vicarious learning or modeling. This is when you are able to observe a situation and then learn from it. This occurs a lot with certain apparels, such as observing a role model and then buying what they are wearing. The most advanced and complex type of cognitive learning is our analytical reasoning. This is where your brain uses knowledge about something that you're familiar with to help you understand something that may be related but you're ultimately unfamiliar with. Now that you have a little bit of background on learning, it is time to talk about the brains behind the social learning theory. The name that is most closely associated with this theory is Albert Bandura. Now that you have a little bit of background on learning, it's time to talk about the brains behind the social learning theory. The name that is most closely associated with this theory is Albert Bandura. He is a Canadian-born psychologist who taught at Stanford. In this theory, he states that models are an important source of learning the new behaviors and for achieving behavioral change in the institutionalized setting. Now we will go into a little more depth on the social learning theory. There are three basic ideas behind it. The first point is that people can learn by observing behaviors of others and the outcomes of those behaviors. This can be seen when someone touches something hot and the next person in line notices not to touch that as well. This can be both positive and negative. One negative example would be smoking. Somebody may see a family or a relative die. Fucking damn. Now, just because there is learning taking place doesn't necessarily mean that there will be a change in behavior. This is because the social learning theory says that because people learn through observations alone, their learning may not be necessarily shown in their performance. Learning may or may not result in a behavior change. Now, this can be both positive and negative. One negative example would be in smoking. You may know somebody who died or a relative who got sick, but yet people still choose to smoke. On the other hand, someone who has been trained in martial arts may decide to walk away from a fight instead of fighting, even though they know how. Awareness and expectations of future reinforcements or punishments can have a major effect in the behaviors that people exhibit. If a child watches an older sibling get away with something, they are likely to try it themselves. Or another example would be, if you knew a fellow classmate who studied really hard and got a really good grade on a test and maybe even a special recognition, this may entice you to study harder for your next exam. The social learning theory is closely related to the modeling theory. Albert Bandura proposes that the modeling process involves several steps. First, attention. Modeling can only take place if the one who's being influenced pays attention to the features or the action that the model is exhibits. Next is retention. Retention is imperative to remember information in order to learn and later reproduce those behaviors. The next, reproduction. When copying a behavior, an individual must organize the response in accordance with the model of the behavior. This isn't always easy, but can improve with practice. Last will be motivation. Motivation must be a reason for pushing an individual to do something. There's no reason to reproduce a behavior if there's no motivation behind it. I have a few references that you could check out. Thank you for taking your time to listening to the social learning theory. Have a blessed day.